Mic'd up.
Welcome to Yankees Coast to Coast. We are joined here today. My favorite co-host of any podcast I've ever had is Adam Schneider, and
It's
he's
the
here
only
today.
podcast.
It is my only
I've
podcast.
ever had.
That's like when I tell Michelle she's my favorite wife I'll ever have, and she responds with, "You're never getting married again, are you?" I go, "Yes, I'm never going to get married again, so that makes you my worst wife I'll ever have as well." And then, of course, America's favorite remote reporter and idiot baseball savant, Daniel Hugh Kramah, Esquire.
Kramah.
And that's UH, K-R-A-M.
It's UH for purposes of this particular podcast.
Okay.
Can you believe how many Kramers there are in this big?
There are 6 Kramers. I'm seeing double.
I have that too. I just don't have it right in front of me, but yes.
Well, yes, you do, Kramah. All you're doing is looking in the mirror.
That depresses me.
As it would, most of us.
How are you? Here's what's going to happen this week, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, all 3 of you. You should remember that if you're listening live, you can use the microphone icon at the bottom of the screen and leave us a 30-second message or a dozen 30-second messages. And just so you know, you can go on the app anytime one of our shows is posted before the show and leave us a message as well. But each message is limited to 30 seconds, but there is no limit on the number of messages you leave. Today's topics: baseball prospects. How are the top prospects doing in the majors? And how are they doing in the minors if they're in the minors? And of course, we'll have a Yankee emphasis as this is Yankees Coast to Coast, but we will talk about other prospects potentially. Then, of course, there's the Stump the Chump section, and that's why Kramah was invited back, because as an idiot baseball savant, we expect him to answer every question correctly.
An idiot baseball.
And
I
then,
love the idiot baseball response.
as always, because this is a Yankees podcast, we start with This Week in Yankee Baseball.
Yep.
So, before we even get to that, Adam, how was your week?
It has been quite well, thank you. Hey, listen, I really apparently offended the guys on the other show, and I do want to. I want to apologize for Ezra Mermelschwanz, because apparently he did a terrible thing. One of his least favorite managers in history is Roger Craig, and apparently Roger Craig in that "Hum Baby" thing was very loved and very beloved by our friends over at the other show. Boo! and he's very upset. Ezra's upset because every time they mention his name, they boo. It's the guy is trying to participate.
Here's what we think of their show. Why isn't it working? I'm very upset. Oh.
That died on the vine, buddy. Anyway, really, Ezra wanted me to apologize to the guys from the other show, from Highlights from Low Lives. Again, apologies for making any kind of nasty comment, anything that would be seen as upsetting about Roger Craig. He did not know that there was a close personal relationship with that great manager.
They have a personal relationship, or is it just a love as a Giants fan?
I don't know. It was so emotional. They were so upset by it, and that they said that he was no longer welcome on the show as a guest. So I was like, wow.
Well, you saw what I wanted to do, because Weber did the show from some singles bar this week, and I was going to ask the question, and I forgot to ask the question of how many can we do a head count of how many women Weber hits on at the singles bar he was at in Stockton, and how to reject him. But I forgot to ask that question.
I love it. Okay. So
Kramah, how was your week? Kramah, how was your week? Since you are a lawyer in New York, I'm assuming you're on the Trump defense team. How is it going?
Well, I only do civil matters, not criminal, so I'm not on his defense team.
Good
Oh, you
answer.
were on the
Good
other
answer.
one. You were on the other one where he lost $450 million.
Uh, well, he wouldn't have lost that much if I was on his team, maybe 400 million. Um, but my week is fine. As far as hitting on women in bars, I will admit to doing that, but unfortunately, I'm not always very successful at it. But it all depends. But anyway,
Well,
week was
Kramah,
fine.
wait a second. I got to hold you up on that. Kramah, I thought most of the women that you hit on were not old enough to go to bars.
You see, this
No,
is
no, I
like
won't.
fishing in a barrel.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, that I
Kramer,
wouldn't do.
it's like fishing in a barrel.
Yeah,
You just laid that one up.
that's
It could not be better. It could not be a better setup for Mr. Miller.
Listen,
Come at you.
Kramer's not laying anything out except himself.
Yeah.
Gee, is it 8 o'clock yet? Oh.
Wow.
So how was the rest of your week, Kramah?
The rest of the week, I know I gave you a hanging curveball there. No, the rest of the week was fine. Hey, as far as my day-to-day professional life, people know I'm a lawyer, but all kidding aside, it's all civil matters to me, and I handle help people that are injured. So as far as Trump and his team, the chips will fall where they may. I won't make any opinion on that. Professionally, the week was fine. Baseball-wise, the week was fine, and
Great week.
I'm hoping by this time next week, the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals. They got to win one more.
Sorry,
And
this is
just so
not
you
a
know,
Knicks
this is just so you
baseball.
know, along those same lines. My brother Todd called in.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hope the show ends in like 7 minutes because that's when the Ranger game really starts.
Which is where my family's allegiance lies, which I am watching on tape delay. So please, no spoilers.
No, that won't. I won't spoil it because I'm not a big hockey fan. Because I think you guys know by now. During the baseball off season, my go-to sport is basketball. Always has been. So we'll see. I mean, I know this is not a basketball show, but I think the Knicks did deserve a comment. What I like about that team, and it's funny. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I'm going to tie it into the Yankees also. Is next man mentality, next man up mentality is all well and good. If the next man up buy all in that, what, I'm here to do everything I can to win this game and not worry about the next game. So I think that's what the Knicks did in Game 5. I just hope they have the same urgency in Game 6. And now how I'm going to tie it into the Yankees is winning is great, but I think it's the way they're winning that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
They're tacking on runs. The starting pitching, though, we have to presume it can't stay on this pace. There's going to be some regression, but it's good enough. As we mentioned when we were speaking before, Nestor Cortez is the worst statistically, and his whip, I think, is only 1.1, which is very good. So there's going to be some regression there, but it's the way that the Yanks are winning that portends to what could be. It's very early, but it could be a special season. They're not winning every game 11-2 and 11-1. They're attacking on runs, and the one thing that was nice is to see the starting pitchers go a little bit deeper in the games.
So getting on to the Yankees, and one of the things I was going to hit on for this week, obviously a 5-1 road trip through Tampa and Minnesota, especially after Minnesota had won 17 out of 20, was pretty impressive. But if you look at the road trip pitching, oh my goodness, 38 innings, 5 runs out of their starters in 6 games.
Yeah.
Out of control.
I mean,
That
that's
is
not
just out of control. And Cortez was the one who allowed 4 out of the 5 runs.
yeah.
And everybody threw more than 87 pitches was the least amount of pitches anybody threw. 87 by Schmidt on the first game in Tampa, and then the most was 103 by Schmidt today. So the pitching has been out of control this week. And quite frankly, I have the stats from the last 25 Yankee starts. 145 in the third innings, 49 earned runs allowed, 143 strikeouts, and 54 walks and hit by pitch, which is a 3.03 ERA. They've had 4 bad starts, 3 of which have been by Cortez, 2 on the road and 1 at home against Oakland, which really wasn't that bad. And then 1 by Rodon. It's been out of control, the starting pitching.
Yeah.
Adam, make the next
and
comment. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's pulling an Asti. Off to the bathroom goes Kramah.
really,
What do you
these
think?
guys, we have to tell
What's
our-
your impressions of the week?
I think it's been a great week. I think everything about the team is clicking in pretty much. starting pitching has been outstanding. And what I'm so happy about is how deep they're going into games. Like, we know nobody goes into deep into games anymore. I sent out an article the other day about the end of the starting pitcher. They're wondering if the ace is no longer the death of the ace in baseball right now. So that seems to be they legislating away from that role. So to see guys going 6, 7 into the 8th inning is to me a great sign, because we've been saying this. We say it all the time. We've said it for years. They cannot survive with 5 inning starts and having these guys having to throw that many pitches. So what they've got now, and I'm very happy about it, is the balance between a really, really good starting staff and then 1 or 2 guys they need, not 4 guys, but 1 or 2 guys at the end of the game. And you're getting from Weaver, what you're getting from Holmes. I listen. We are not apologists for Holmes, but we got. You have to admit he's been unhittable this year, and so all in, really happy about everything that I'm seeing now. I'm not sure about Soto though. Maybe he's having a little trouble now. I'm kidding.
Well, I want to go back just before you go into the offense, just from a team pitching perspective. The Yankees average literally 5.5 innings per start, which is 8th in baseball. And this is really a meaningless stat because it's 93 pitches per start is what the Yankees pitchers average, which is the tops in baseball. But if you look at some of the stats that are out there, I mean, Stroman is a mess with regard to the number of pitchers he throws. The guy, he has, in his last 26 innings, he has 17 walks and hit by batters. And he gets ahead of every hitter. And then exactly what they say on the telecast, Nelson really got into it this week, was, with Stroman on his first start in Minnesota, where he can't put guys away.
Mm-hmm. And that's concerning.
He's
also giving up a lot of home runs too. So he's giving up more home runs than he's used to. His sinker is not playing right now. Something's wrong there.
But that's
and just so you know, Kramah, he has the worst whip on the team at 1.4. And Rodon is at 1.2 and change. Then comes Schmidt at 1.2 and change. And then comes the best, Cortez is at 1.081 and Hill is at 1.093.
I mean, that's what Stroman's always been. I mean, he's always been a touch and feel pitcher, not a strikeout guy, and that's all right. But it's funny. I'm glad you mentioned where the Yankees rank in pitches. I'm actually surprised. 93 pitches is towards the top in the league, and to me, that's laughable. But that's because we grew up on baseball that wasn't like that. But okay, we have to go with the changes of the game, and that's fine. But I got to give Weaver a lot of credit. Now Weaver is a guy that he had some prospect pedigree when he came up as a starting pitcher. I think he was a 2nd or 3rd round. He was a pretty high draft pick, so he had some prospect pedigree. I hesitate to use the word failed starter. I know that's used a lot, but for lack of a better word, let's just use the term he was a starter that didn't get the results of his prospect pedigree that the teams were hoping for. So not only was he turned into a reliever, but you know what? He's basically turned into Michael King's replacement. He's this year's Michael King. He's going to be the 2-inning guy.
Yeah.
And he's a slightly built guy, a smaller guy, but he has a pretty electric fastball. He's a 95, 96. I didn't think he threw that.
He's not that small, Kramah. He's 6'2", 185.
Well,
by the way, he was drafted out of high school in the 19th round in 2011, but then he went to Florida State, and in 2014 he was the 27th overall pick by the Cardinals in the first round.
He doesn't look that big, but then again, it's on TV. But whatever it is, they always overstate it. But he has a pretty electric fastball. So you figure for a 1-inning or 2-inning stint, it's working. Don't change it. It's working. I mean, I have a better comp for him. He could be this year's Ramiro Mendoza. He could be this team's Ramiro Mendoza, where if you don't need him in the 8th, the 6th and 7th, we either go get us 5 or 6 outs and take the bridge to Holmes and whatever. So that's a positive step. And as far as the offense, what's very encouraging is they had underachieving players that are now beginning to hit a little bit better. They're getting contributions from a lot of guys. I think this is sustainable. Let's hope.
Let's hope.
So what else you got, Adam? You were about to hit on Soto.
No, I mean, I think Soto's having, it's funny because I don't think I've ever seen Judge this hot and not hitting 2 or 3 home runs a game.
Well, that's
He's
good.
hitting the ball hard and doubling
Yeah.
he's an extra base machine right now. I think he's got 5 doubles in the last 2 games. I mean, it's ridiculous. But what I love about it is, now we got him back. Soto seems to be slumping. He's a human being. People are already talking about it on radio about how, talking about the Mets are going to sign him. The Mets are going to sign him. It's like, are you kidding me?
I disagree with you guys. I think he's going to stay here.
I don't think he's going to be. I'm not saying he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's going to stay because he loves it here. He's happy. And the Yankees are going to offer him more money, not enough money less to go somewhere else. I think he's going to love it. I think he's happy. Now, if they win the World Series, it's going to be a lot easier. But
I think Hal is going to be smart enough not to be outbid to the point where he goes elsewhere. He's going to give him enough money to make him stay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then factoring in the 2 things, that he's very happy here, and it's an organization that you can't find. You're not going to find this organization in Queens. I'm sorry. The
Right.
Mets are always some are always some dumpster fire away from a problem, or one problem away from a dumpster fire. It just seems they're always in trouble about something every year or 2. So you don't have that with the Yankees. You have the Yankees always maintaining some level of professionalism, except Howie Spira. But we won't talk about that. But let's just say it's a hard thing to give up, and I don't think he will. So I'm with you, Kramah. I think he's signing. I'd love to see it mid-season. I would love to get it out of the way. I think there was a comment today in on the show in the game about how Hal came forward and said that they would like to have a conversation with Boris. Whether that goes anywhere,
Yeah.
I doubt it. But it would be nice to have this done. So I'm very bullish on him. But I haven't seen something yet. Can you imagine when the 2 of them are doing what they're supposed to do in the same lineup, the same game? They haven't. Soto got off to the big start. Judge did. Soto's slumping now. Judge is hitting. And there's going to be a great day.
Judge, his last 10 games, which I think you pointed out in one of our text strings, is since he got tossed. He's 16 for his last 34 with 8 doubles, 5 homers, 10 walks, and only 5 strikeouts in his last 10 games. That is one ugly frozen face Kramah has. Isn't it?
I can't remember.
I am sorry, but that totally distracted me.
That's like a mother wouldn't love it. Probably send it back.
Oh, there we go. Well, motion Kramah is not as bad as frozen Kramah. And then, of course,
sorry.
Soto in his last 7 games, he's 3 for his last 25 with 4 walks and 6 strikeouts. So Soto definitely is slumped a little. The guy that I'm impressed with, the guy I'm impressed with offensively, not from a complete he's hitting nonstop type statistical standpoint, is Wells. And they showed this stat yesterday. He has 13 walks and 11 strikeouts on the season.
Yeah,
the man controls the strike zone.
Talked about it today. It's a very, very nice thing. You don't see it very often in today's game. So very, very pleased. But the catchers, you can't go wrong with these guys. They're giving them more offense than they expect. And they're both defensively, obviously one's better than the other, but they're both very solid behind the plate. So they're doing what they need to do. It's a good team. It's a well-balanced team. Even Gleyber, our favorite, our favorite punching bag, is having a great week, or a very good week. So what can we say? Mike, how do you feel about Gleyber?
He's dumb. Baseball. He has the baseball IQ of a bag of rocks. However, he hasn't done anything stupid in a couple of days on the field.
I can't say the same thing. I did stupid things today.
Well, Kramah, you're not Gleyber Torres, and the Yankees aren't paying you $14 million a year, so that's fine.
And
but I'm Kramah Torres.
So hey, don't worry about it, Kramah. So just to give you an idea, the Yankees are 30-15 after today. Won 8 out of the last 10. They have a game lead over Baltimore, and the only team with a better record than them in all baseball is the Phillies at 31-13. So you can't really argue with how they performed.
You can't say anything. Really can't.
No, it's their on base is fourth in baseball. Their slugging is fourth in baseball. Their batting average is fifth. Their OPS is third. They have 331 strikeouts in their games, which is fifth best in all of baseball, even though it seems like they strike out a lot. But that's because Judge and Stanton and Torres were striking out like nobody's business. The two downsides are that they've left 312 guys on base, which is the fifth worst in baseball.
Double
And
plays.
then, of course, everybody's favorite stat, 46 double plays, which is more than anybody in baseball.
Yeah. I think that what are we going to do? They have, we're so happy. I've never seen us have nothing bad to say. And by the way, Todd is on fire tonight. Your brother is he's saying that the reason the Phillies are better is because the Mets stink. They've been playing the Mets the Mets 9 times.
So this is when we were talking about going back to Weaver. This is Todd's response to the Weaver conversation.
Mariano was a failed starter. I don't think it means anything.
I would agree with that. The thing that I'm most worried about really is the fact that they don't have anybody besides Holmes and Weaver right now, because Hamilton is scary. 7 out of 15 base runners inherited have scored.
Yeah.
He's pitched 22 innings this year, allowed 20 hits with 9 walks and 18 strikeouts, which doesn't sound awful, but when you look at last year, he pitched 58 innings with 69 strikeouts. So he's not striking guys out. And he didn't reduce his walk rate at all. And eventually, like we've seen with all of the Yankee relievers, whether it's Marinaccio or Peralta even at the end of last year, or any of these other guys, there's a reversion back to the mean, or what they are. You are what your record says you are, and right now Weaver's a stud, but his long-term record is not a long-standing track record to rely upon. And then you've got Trevino, who got shut down in the minors after a bullpen session or after an appearance, and Canley, who's back in a rehab situation. I think he's in Somerset now.
Yeah, he's due back very soon, though. They say he's
well, they said that last time too, so we'll see what happens.
Efros should be back sometime this year.
Yeah, Efros isn't even in a rehab situation yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Man left back surgery and nobody knew about it.
Is there any update on two things on the medical front? DJ, is he coming back anytime soon?
He's starting a rehab assignment tomorrow.
Again.
And then what about again? And what about Cole? What's the next step for him?
The last we heard, he was throwing from 120 feet. I think. I'm sorry. I take that back.
He threw a bullpen.
So he's throwing off a mound at least. He threw.
Yeah, and he's going to throw BP. I think he's going to throw BP this week, live BP, while they're at the stadium.
Well, that could be a huge step. I mean, if he does that and gets through it, then he's probably next is going to be a simulated game.
Right. It goes live BP, simulated game. Yeah. And then he said he's going to need at least three to four starts in the minor league rehab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're looking at July or June.
Okay. Can anybody pull up Judge's OPS plus right now? I can't seem to find it.
His on base percentage is about 385. His batting average now is 260.
No, but I mean like his on base, his OBS, no, I know OPS plus.
Yeah, I know what you're looking for. It's at
162 right now.
He was at apparently they talked about this in the game today, and I love Nelson. He's just so.
He was at 97 before the streak.
That's incredible. He and I think he and Kay do a good job together. I really do.
I think he keeps Kay a little bit better focused. Although I did spend a good amount of time talking about All in the Family, Mary Tyler Moore, and different things like that today.
Singing the song to him today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't see it, so I have to rely on you guys.
So he asked. So they showed the Mary Tyler Moore statue because they're in Minnesota, and Nelson said he's never seen Mary Tyler Moore. He was more of a Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley guy. And of course, Kay responded with, "What do you watch? Only Milwaukee-based sitcoms." And then they got into a conversation about All in the Family and stuff like that. And Nelson seems to be a big Broadway show guy because he knows a lot of people that work down there, and he knows a lot of actors. And Michael Kay asked him if they made a Mary Tyler Moore Broadway show, would you see it? And Nelson said yes, because it's a big Broadway show. So.
Yeah, I admit, I'm generally speaking, I'm much more of a fan of British comedy, so I'm the wrong guy to discuss this with.
What, Benny
Yeah,
Hill?
well,
You like
you look a
Benny
little
Hill
Benny
and
Hill-like, so that's
Well,
okay.
that's different. That's a sketch comedy. I did like it. There was a certain time frame where Benny Hill's sketch comedy was good. There was a time frame where it wasn't. But
What was that show with the two women that absolutely fabulous? You actually like that show?
no, that's not one. My favorite one is a show called Are You Being Served? It's just absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I know that show. That is a good show. I
It's
agree. That is a good show.
the
But I do
sequel.
like the American version of The Office is better than the British version of The Office.
I tried both of them. I didn't love either of the two, but another British show. I don't know. We digress. If you get a chance to check out Keeping Up Appearances, that's also a classic. It's a fantastic.
Yeah, but those are the top shows. That's like talking about All in the Family and Nice Guys.
Yeah.
By the way, Ghosts, which is on CBS here in these states, is actually a British show. And my wife and I, when the strike was going on, watched the British version, and it was outstanding.
You see, I just want people out there in TV world and podcast world and iPhone and Android world to realize how versatile we are. We can talk Yankees, we can talk TV, we can talk anything you want. There you go.
Adam cannot. And the fact that Adam brought up, what did you bring up last week? Football? I was shocked that Adam even knows what a football looks like, other than what pitchers use to warm up in the outfield before games. Shocked
I'm a
me.
Renaissance man.
You are not a Renaissance man. So, anything else on this week in Yankee baseball? And we'll blame Kay and Nelson for our diversion to television today.
Okay,
Good diversion.
What are the Yankees going to do about Trent Grisham? He's got 13 strikeouts and 33 at bats. He's played 18 times. He's hitting .061.
You talking about Grisham?
Yeah.
Grisham?
Yes, Trent Grisham. There's absolutely nothing under the hood there. What are they going to do?
Can I tie in the reply to that with one of our prospects?
Go ahead.
As people in Yankee land know, one of the top prospects the Yankees have is Dominguez. And Dominguez can play all three outfield positions, and he can play center field. Grisham, though, was brought here to be a part-time player. So I don't want to read too much into the stats that he has. Yes, he struggled off. He hasn't done anything offensively, with the exception of 1 3-run home run in Milwaukee. But he's a very good defensive outfielder. And if he's here this year to bat 150 times or so to spell one of the other outfielders, then so be it. He's not going to be here past this year. He's contracted until next year or this year?
Next year he's cut.
Then the Yanks have, but that's an easy cut. This year, it's the biggest problem with Grisham is he's going to affect Dominguez more than what we'd like, because if Dominguez doesn't have a place to play, they're going to keep him in the minors. Now I'm going to bring him up.
All right.
Before we get into the prospects, let's again remind everybody that they can use the microphone at the bottom of the screen to leave us a 30-second message, or 7 or 10, as my brother Todd has been doing over the course of this thing. It's like watching me on the Highlights from Low-Life show. Speaking of which, other shows available on the Mic'd Up app include the Highlights from Low-Life, where there will be 4 clowns instead of the 3 that we have on this show. 4 clowns talking about the cross-section between pop culture and sports. And then, as in yesterday's show, perhaps you got to see Rob Weber get turned off by several ladies and different things that are going on. But they usually do a pop culture twist on sports, which is usually very entertaining.
Yep.
The other shows, you have the Rick Barry. What'd you say?
Who is that?
There you go. Highlights for Lois. And then you got the Rick Barry show. Every couple of weeks, Rick puts a show on here where he's not afraid to speak his mind. It was not a boo for Rick Barry. It was for the Highlights from Low-Life. And then you've got the Jim Darby show. He's an Eastern sports executive and author. He wrote a book called The Bears in the Big Leagues, featuring Cal Bears who have reached the major leagues. And he gives insights into his 40 years working in the sporting goods industry with players in Major League Baseball, the National Hockey League, and the National Football League. No NBA. I wonder why. Oh, yeah, Easton doesn't use anything that would be from that particular thing. Not to mention that Louisville Slugger is now owned by Easton. Anyhow, that being the case, let's talk prospects. Kramah did bring up Dominguez. He is the number 32 overall prospect in all of baseball.
Yeah.
When is he going to be back? Is he hitting off a tee? What's he doing?
No. He started his rehab, and the Yanks have already hinted it's 20 games, so he's going to do the 20 days or the 20 games. for the rehab. The Yanks have already hinted that after the 20 games are up, they're likely going to option into the minors, and I think that's the right move because where they're going to play him, even without Grisham, where they're going to play him.
The inn is full, and
Yeah.
I think that uh, what they're going to do, and it's probably a smart thing, is to move him down there, and then give him 150, 200 at bats if possible. Maybe give him like a real full spring training plus, and get him ready, and then see what happens. Someone's going to get hurt. Everyone always gets hurt. So
Yeah.
the likelihood that we're going to lose somebody, and I would, we haven't had our Stanton injury yet, and that's according to Cashman is going to happen anytime. So if that's the case, there's your answer.
Dominguez has played one game. He went 1 for 3 with a walk.
Yeah. So he's
playing.
making his way back, but there's no rush to bring him, and they're not going to move. I just like to see I'd like a format where you give Judge more DH at bats, more half days off, and then you have a strong center fielder, an offensive minded and defensive minded center fielder, not a Grisham in there. So to me, that's the thing, but it's going to really depend on what they do with Stanton. That's just where I see, and I don't know. And like I said, I'm glad Stanton's hitting a little bit. I still believe he's just falling into the mistakes. But listen, I don't care if he hits 30 home runs and all of them on mistakes, and we were happy. But I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to pass the smell test much longer. He's a 180 hitter. And
let's presume the Yanks will not eat Stanton's money this year or next year. Let's just presume that.
I think that's safe.
I put an idea, and this is going to segue into another prospect the Yanks have. I put in an idea in another text thread where sometimes a team, when they have a roster crunch, be proactive instead of reactive. Not saying that you should take Judge and Spencer Jones, who I'm going to mention now, and change the types of players they are. They're outfielders. But I think Spencer Jones's estimated time of arrival to be ready for the majors is probably next year. And the reason why I bring Jones up is when you have prospects, every team has certain prospects that are going to pan out, some that'll never pan out. But there's always prospects that they're going to get the opportunity to find out one way or the other. And Spencer Jones is one of them. I think Jones and Judge, both of them, during next offseason should learn how to play first base, so that you could.
I would never put Judge at first base ever. Jones played first base at Vanderbilt. I'm looking up his stats. He played a little bit of first base in Vanderbilt back in 2020 when they had the short season for COVID. And then the next year in the CCBL, which was another summer league thing that they played in for the college players, he played 2 games at first base then as well. So first base, while he hasn't played any first base since 2021, it was a position that Vanderbilt recruited him to play. And that's something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, they should do it only because of the roster construction. Now Rizzo, I think,
is gone after this year.
I think there's a club option for next year, and I think the Yankees are going to pick it up. I think there's a club option this year. So let's presume Rizzo is there one more year. He's not going to be there at 25. So just to look towards 25 and beyond, if Spencer Jones can be a what's the word I'm looking for? Multi-positional player where it's outfield and first base, it's going to alleviate the roster jam from after 2025. Because then, worst case scenario, okay, your outfield's full. Spencer Jones is your first baseman.
Well, it looks like the Yanks have a $6 million buyout or a $17 million option on Rizzo for next year.
I think they're picking up the option. Rizzo's been pretty good.
I think a lot of it depends on DJ LeMahieu. I think it depends on LeMahieu.
And it's also Rizzo's clubhouse influence. It's like another coach.
Yeah, but I think the guys that they have, I think the bigger question mark for next year is Verdugo, but with all the outfield construction issues that you're talking about. Spencer Jones is off to an extremely slow start in the minors at AA this year.
In a slow start. I mean, now this is all conjecture for his readiness for 2025. Maybe he's not ready till 2026, but
he's not young though. He's 23 already, so he's not very young.
Yeah, so he was drafted as a 4-year college player. So he was.
Yeah, no, same as our friend Judge. So the Yankees' number 3 prospect is number 76 overall in Major League Baseball. It's Chase Hampton. He's 22, and not surprisingly, he's on the 60-day disabled list or injured list.
He hasn't had.
So he hasn't
thrown a
pitched yet
pitch.
this year.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I started doing the research for the show. And then the next best prospect they have is number 89 overall in baseball. He's the Yankees' number 4 prospect, a 19-year-old in Single A Tampa. Guy named Roderick Arias is a switch-hitting shortstop, the ultimate punch and Judy hitter. His slugging percentage is lower than his on-base percentage.
Wow.
But that
Don't
could
see
change.
that.
But he's considered the top prospect. But he's at least 3 years away.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 19. He's in Single A. But the other guy that's also at Single A is George Lombard.
Yeah, they like
Jr.
it. Yeah, they like
He's
it.
18 years old, and he's the 6th prospect on the list. He's also a punch and Judy hitter,
That's
where his slugging is significantly lower. His on base, he's had 93 plate appearances and 21 walks. That's pretty impressive for an 18-year-old.
Rookie league and A minus and A plus or A ball could be a little bit deceptive on the power element. Well, that's why they say double A is the real test, because the pitching is different. Double A is when they start to see spin. But if you see a prospect begin to hit for a little bit of power in double A, then you got to take a look at him, because if they hit for power in double A and their strikeout walk ratio is not completely unbalanced, that's the type of guy you take a look at and you say, okay, can he help in the majors? Can he help us bring something back? And
then you got the Yankees' number 5 prospect continues the conversation with regard to Dominguez and Verdugo and Jones and Everson Pereira.
yeah,
23 years old. He's at AAA.
that's the trade.
He's off to an
Having a very
okay
good
start.
year.
He's got a little bit of a high strikeout rate, and doesn't walk very much.
He's a nice prospect, but that's the limitation. That's a nice trade chip. If they turned him into I don't want to say but a better left-handed relief pitcher or a multi-utility pitcher, I think that's something the Yankees should.
I would love for him to even get them I don't care if he's lefty or righty at this point. Just a relief pitcher that is got more than 1 year on his contract, that's got a little bit heavier of a track record
That would be ideal.
they can rely upon, so that when they reverse to mean, I don't want to say bad things about Luke Weaver or Ian Hamilton, but they're guys that were off the scrap heap. And I don't want scrap heap. I mean, if you're going to trade a guy like Pereira, you got to pick up a bullpen piece. It's almost a shame. What's his name? The closer in the White Sox, who's out with cancer, and then Tommy John.
Oh, Liam Hendricks.
Yeah, he would have been. Picking up a guy like that
He's on
for
Boston.
Pereira and another prospect would have been nice to do as well. But he's not going to do that.
That I have
getting a guy like that.
The thing I have about Pereira is that he falls into that category. The Yankees seem to have a lot of. They've got these players that have problems when they come up. They strike out a lot. He's over 35% right now, I think, strikeout rate, which is pretty bad, even despite having 10 home runs. But I think what worries me is he's going to go into that no man's land that the Yankees like to do, where they don't bring him up. It's the Florial problem, and that then they end up losing these guys when they have value now, and they don't do anything with them, and then they lose all value because they, for whatever reason, they can't seem to get to that next level. I just see that happening with this guy, and I hope that's not the case, because I hope if they're going to trade him, do it soon, do it now, or use him, use him effectively. I'd like to see him up now and in place. He's an excellent outfielder. Wouldn't it be nice to see him come up relatively soon and get some at bats from center field, from Grisham, before Dominguez is ready? I don't know. Well, this seems to me to do it.
Pereira's not a center field, corner outfielder, so he can't do that. But
he's been playing center field down in the minors.
Has he? Oh, okay. Yeah. I stand corrected. But Pereira, I agree with you. The time to trade him is now. You trade him while he still has some value. He's still highly regarded. Trade him now.
Yeah, I mean, the other guy that's no longer labeled as a prospect is Peraza, and he's injured, and who knows when he's coming back.
You see, I hope he pans out. I really do. But but that's a great example. The Yanks are blowing that. I mean, when they made the decision that Volpe was the guy last year, and Volpe wasn't ready, but when they made the decision Volpe was the guy, what are they holding on to Peraza for? He's not going to start for them. He has value. Trade him, get something, because last year's team was historically bad. The lineup was, I mean, unwatchable. So the Yanks blew that, but hopefully Peraza will regain some of his value. So we'll see.
Well, that perhaps he's the second baseman if for some reason Torres walks and DJ goes over to first base or third base, because I don't think Torres is going to walk because they're going to have to give him the qualifying offer, which is going to be like $19 million, and I don't think he's going to get an offer like that from anybody else.
I don't think
he's going to be back.
I don't think he would take it because it's 1 year. He's gonna get a multi-year deal, so I don't think he takes it.
You think he takes a 3-year, $42 million deal over a 1 year, $19 million deal, knowing he's going to be the starting second baseman in a lineup that potentially has the lineup that they have today?
I think he's getting more than 42.
You do? Oh,
yeah.
Well,
I'm not saying he should, but I think he's getting more than his market's going to be.
Well, the Yanks better let him walk. That's for damn sure. They better let him walk.
It's going to be at least 3. It may be 4, but if it's 3, I think he's getting closer to 48.
Okay.
Maybe even 51 because he made 15 this year, and so
that's fine. I mean, if the Yankees can get a draft pick for him, that's all the better.
100%. And I'm not indicting him as a player. It's just that it's time to move on from him.
Yeah. There's a player I'd love to bring him. You think he's peaked?
I think Torres is peaked.
Yeah, I think more than peaked. I mean, I think he's in decline. I really do. I don't think he's not. He isn't that good a ball player. And what happened, and it's happened. You saw it today. It's a beautiful double that should have been caught because, for whatever reason, Minnesota cannot play the outfield anymore. Those guys are terrible out there in their own outfield. They're dropping everything this week. They were getting terrible jumps on everything. But today, he hit a booming double that should have been caught. And then the next at bat he gets up, he does one of his tush things, his tush in the dugout. And then he hits a pop-up to second base or to short center field that looks like he was so out in front and just completely lost. And again, I think what he was thinking was, I'm going to swing hard, I'm going to hit one far. I did it before, I can do it again. This time I'm going to hit it further. That's not the mindset these guys should be having. They should be teaching him to focus on hard contact up the middle. And they never do with him, or he can't get to that level of mental strength.
I mean, it looked like that first at bat of the season looked like, oh my God, this guy's going to be terrific this year. And we talk a lot about Volpe batting leadoff and not batting leadoff, and I think Volpe should be down in the batting order for the most part. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Torres lead off against lefties and Verdugo against righties. But this year, the Yankees seem to be saying we're playing the same guys every day in the same batting order every day, which is a better choice than any they've had the last several years where they were moving guys around. So you can't get everything you want all the time. When we have that, it'll be my benevolent dictatorship over the world, where everybody wants for nothing. They get everything they need, but they may not get everything they want. So they'll get everything they need. So talking about other teams' prospects, right? You start talking about prospects, and the team that everybody talks about is, who? The Baltimore Orioles, right? I mean, just in the major league level this year, they obviously Gunnar Henderson, he's only 22. Colton Cowser's 24. Grayson Rodriguez is 24. Jordan Westburg is 25. And that doesn't count Jackson Holliday as one of their top prospects. It doesn't count Samuel Basallo as one of their top prospects.
And Kersad.
And Kobe Mayo, who's supposed to be up this year as a third baseman, is monster-sized, 6'5", 230-pound guy. And Hester Kjerstad, who's a AAA this year, is a top 25 prospect. I mean, the Orioles are built to last.
But you got to really wonder, what is it about a team? What switch went on? What changed? Because
they drafted well after stinking for so long.
They had all these terrible years. They were but no, they're all coming now. They've been terrible for a long time. They had one or maybe two good years where they were in the middle of the pack, and one year they finished first. I don't understand what was happening for the 10 years before. Is it a management change? Is it an approach? It's something I'd love to find out. What did they do for so wrong for so many years, and all of a sudden now they can't miss?
Well, if you look at it, the guys are all 23, 24, 25 years old, which means they were drafted 3, 4, and 5 years ago.
But
Mhm.
they
Jackson Holiday is an different example because he's the youngest of all of them. But most of these guys are 22, 23, 24 years old, which means they were drafted 4 and 5 years ago, which is when they started really stinking.
and they drafted the right guys.
Oh, they stunk long before. They were terrible in after all through the 2000s. They were bad. So they were bad for years. After those few years where they were close, they were competing against the Yankees. Like 96, 97, they were competing with the Yankees. And then they had a terrible first decade. And then they didn't really do anything, but they couldn't draft either. Same thing with teams like the Pirates. You got to wonder, how can you be that bad for that many years and draft so terribly and such bad luck?
The Pirates have drafted badly.
Well, part of the Pirates also is they made a couple of franchise-altering trades. They traded Tyler Glasnow to Tampa Bay for Chris Archer, and it wasn't just Glasnow. It was Glasnow, Shane Baz, who's working his way back, and they got Austin Meadows, who had his best year with Tampa Bay
before he went to Detroit, right?
Yeah, that was
one of the worst trades ever.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
And then that's that trade. Glasnow. None of those players have actually with Tampa anymore, except Baz. And obviously he's coming off. Isn't he coming off TJ?
Yeah, he's pitching well for the Dodgers this year. He's pitching very well for the Dodgers.
Glasnow's pitching really well for the Dodgers. So
Baz is coming off TJ, and Meadows had one great season, one good one. And we don't wish ill will, but he's out of baseball right now for anxiety.
Yeah,
he has mental illness. I don't know if he's ever going to come back. Think about that, and talk about a smart organization. Although Tampa Bay turns around and swaps Meadows for Isaac Paredes, who's now a 30-homer bat in their lineup.
Yeah,
that's how they do it.
The other team that was really bad for a really long time, that seems to have a young core, is the Reds, right? De La Cruz is 22. Andrew Abbott is a pitcher on the rotation, is 24. Hunter Green's 24. Matt McClain, who's out for the season, is only 24.
He may be back. He might be back, but
we'll see what happens. He was hurt pretty bad.
They haven't hit this year.
No, they're not even De La Cruz.
Yeah.
Well, the difference between them and the Orioles, though, is they only have one top 25 prospect left in their system.
De La Cruz, though, has the most what's the word? Deceptive. Yeah, okay, deceptive stat line. He's striking out 35% of the time, but he has 10 or 11 home runs and 25 stolen bases. So statistically, he's going to be a 30 homer, and he could steal 80 bases.
Well, that's Acuna Jr. last year.
And he's going to strike out 175 times. Yep.
Yeah. Talk about somebody who needs to learn how to make contact. The other team that's young, and they're in first place, although they're not really very much above 500 in the division, is the Mariners, with Julio Rodriguez is 23, Bryce Miller's 25, Andres Munoz is 25, Brian Woo's only 24. And then when you start looking at the top prospects in baseball, they're another team that's got some guys in the top 100 that look like they're going to be pretty good ball players, but still not Baltimore. They've got the 28th and 29th ranked prospects, a catcher and a shortstop. So, Seattle's building a little bit the right way as well, and that's a team that's been pretty good for the last few years.
Seattle will go as far as their offense takes them.
Yeah, and then of course the most dangerous thing in the world to read is how young the Dodgers are.
Yeah.
Yamamoto, obviously he's got 6-7 years of pro baseball, but he's 25. Bobby Miller, who's been hurt on and off, is 25. Pages is only 23. Gavin Stone is 25.
Yep.
And then you've got young guys on their roster who haven't performed. And, the Dodgers, they're willing to give up any prospect for a star, which is, why I would love to see Torres end up with the Dodgers. Would have been a great landing spot, especially with Gavin Lux hitting below 200. So,
Yep.
You know, for a Bobby Miller type, it would be great for the Yankees.
Well,
So
I
who
want to ask
knows?
you guys about somebody on the Yankees, on Scranton. Very interested in your thoughts on Caleb Durbin.
yeah, shorter guy, a shorter infielder, an infield. He's like a grinder, overachiever type.
Have
Don't
you
know.
seen his stat line? It's
Yeah,
it's kind of amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Um,
mean he's 5'6", 180. He's tiny.
yep,
yeah, he's 5'6", 180. Um, has has a 408 on base percentage.
yep.
Yep.
His slugging isn't terrible either, which is at 431. So he's got a lot of doubles.
Where's he?
Uh, and runs quickly. He's got 21
Eight-
stolen. He's got how many
18 for 20.
stolen bases out of 20,
Where's he?
and he
Double
doesn't
A?
strike out very much. He strikes out. He's only struck out 21 times at 185 at bat.
Which level?
So,
He's a
played
triple A.
Oh, he's in AAA. He's in,
batting average. I think it was higher. He's coming down a little bit, but he's one of these guys. He plays everywhere. He'd be all over. He reminds me. He seems like a toe type, but maybe a little bit more. A
power.
little more than toe. Play a little outfield also.
I
So
think he's a left-handed hitter also.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Is he?
interesting.
Yeah.
I just love guys like that. I don't
No,
know why.
he's a righty,
Oh,
Kramah.
he's right there. Oh, I'm thinking of somebody.
I don't know why I like him so much,
Yeah.
but
Because
he plays all positions.
he's one of the few major leaguers your height. So all those things being said, we can get to a couple of
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, let's hear what our friends have.
these questions that are out there. Let's see what we'll start with those that came in the earliest. Well, Big Juicy has a question that only Kramah can answer.
See if I know. Yeah.
Good time to be in the Giants farm system. The big team has lost 8 players to the IL. So what does that mean for the River Cats, AAA? Well, 8 position players are now up playing with the Giants. And what does that mean for the next level down, the Flying Squirrels? Well, here's my 2 prospects. The Giants' recent first-round picks, Reggie Crawford, Hunter Bishop, are now AAA players, something that wasn't expected this quick in their careers.
So one of the Giants fans chiming in. The Giants have a lot of guys that are up and a lot of young guys that are out there, but their big prospect was a miss. The shortstop that was supposed to replace
Luciano
Luciano was supposed to replace Crawford, and he's been a big miss.
hasn't hit.
Nope.
And hasn't
All
shown
right,
it.
so here's some trivia questions that came in. Big
Yep.
Juicy has a question.
Okay, chumps. Which Yankee pitcher set the American League record for most wins in a season? And how many?
I think I know the answer.
Well, I don't, so go ahead, Kramah.
I think it's Jack Chesbro when he won 41, 1903.
1903, exactly right. Is it 03? I think it was late, but it's Chesbro.
Maybe it's a little later. Maybe it's a
He
little
pitched in 2003 and won 40 games.
later. Yeah, 2003. 2003, lucky pitched 41 innings.
Yeah,
So-
I have the answer right here. So we are correct. And you were close, Kramah, 1904.
1904.
It was Jack Chesbro.
The
That
year
was
before.
41 before he was in one of the indicted co-conspirators in the Trump Atlanta
Oh,
case.
1904.
His great grandson.
That was
Sorry,
1904.
he's Cheesebro.
Okay.
Jeez, bro.
All right, so here's a trivia question that I think is also only Kramah can answer.
Here's a trivia question for you boys. I meant to get this in when you did your John Sterling show, but lo and behold, life got in the way and I missed my opportunity. In 1975, John Sterling was hosting sports talk radio on WMCA 570 AM. My brother Ted called in with a question about the NBA. He was 15 years old at the time. And John Sterling said, "That's a very insightful question, young man." What was the question my brother Ted Shale asked John Sterling?
I think Ezra's got a better chance of getting that question answered on the Highlights from Low Life show than anything we're going to say. I think Ted asked, "In what year will your apartment burn down?" Shale, if you're listening, we have no clue, but I do love you, and I love your brother Ted.
It might
I
have
will
been a
tell you that
question about
much.
a great line dancer in Chicago. He loves to go on these trips. We used to talk about it all the time.
Who has a better singing voice, him or Susan? I don't know. All right. Here's a question from my brother Todd.
I have a trivia question. My question is, when is Snow Tire Day at Yankee Stadium? It seems like they're making up all these stupid events that they have at the stadium. Hockey jersey night, and now they're also having basketball jersey night. They might as well just have Snow Tire Night the day after Costanza Night.
They should have Snow Tire Night on the anniversary of the Andy Pettitte game when he pitched in the snow. That's when they should have Snow Tire Night.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if we got. Here's a softball question from our friend Frankie the Yankee.
Okay, this is a softball question for Kramah. This player played for Cleveland from 55 to 59, Detroit 60 to 63, the A's, Kansas City A's in 64, the White Sox in 67, the Dodgers in 68, the Yankees in 68. He had 374 lifetime home runs, 266 batting average, and 1 win as a pitcher for the New York Yankees. Kramah, name that Yankee.
I will hit this softball. The answer, Frankie, is Rocky Colavito.
I assume Frankie's listening, and it sounds like that's the right answer to me because I have no clue. Adam, did you have any clue?
No, I did not know.
So we're the Trumps.
But I'm amazed he won a game as well. He won a game
as a pitcher.
That's interesting.
All right. Frankie, you could chime in and let us know if Rocky Colavito is the correct answer. And then last one. Oh, wait, I think Frankie did chime in. Kramah, you got it right. So now here is another from Frankie, which is for Kramah. You know, this is the Stump the Chumps is not fair when Kramer's on.
Okay, another one for Kramah. This player had the most career at-bats, 2,504, without a stolen base. This player also was essential to one of the most well-known single-season records in Major League Baseball and Yankees history. Also, my cousin's married to his son. Kramah, name that player.
Most at-bats. I'll take sports for 200, Alex. All right, most at-bats without a stolen base. Ooh. And was something in Yankee history. I'm not sure. So he was 2,500 at-bats without a stolen base. Is that what I heard?
And a Yankee record, one of the great most hallowed records in the Yankee history.
And was the question, he had 2,500 at-bats as a Yankee or 2,500 Major League at-bats?
2,500 Major League at-bats, I think it said.
Well, it may come to me, but it's not something.
Give us an answer. We stumped the chump.
Yep.
Answer, please.
I have the answer, but I looked it up. I cheated.
All right, that's fine.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me. I'll try to think about it, but I can't get that off the top of my head, unfortunately.
I don't think this guy played for the Yankees.
Okay,
I don't think he played for the Yankees, just so you know.
That's the hint. So basically, he was an opposing player on a. Not Tony Tarasco, is it?
No. Tony Tarasco. Nice. I like that one.
No, because the hint I'm taking is that it's something that happened in Yankee history, but he didn't play for the Yankees.
No.
Before you hang up, what's the years that he played? The eras, or at least I
57 to 68.
Okay.
He played for the Indians, the Red Sox, and the Twinkies, and then back to the Red Sox at the end.
So it's
all right. Well, anyhow, Kramah has sent in.
I'm going to take a stab at it.
Go ahead.
Is it Kenny Keltner?
No. Frankie gave us the answer. Here it is.
It was the catcher for the Boston Red Sox when Roger Maris hit his 61st home run, Russ Nixon.
I would not have known. I would not have gotten it. Okay. Good question. I would not have gotten it.
So, Adam has disappeared off the face of the earth.
Pounding on the wall in the other room.
Kramah, here's his question. He just sent it in. Here's Jamie's question.
I have a trivia question for you guys. What was John Sterling's home run call for Jan Hervis Solarte?
Never nervous, Jan Gervis. Something like
that. Here it is. I got it. I'm going to play it.
Go ahead.
Very,
Yep.
Very good, Kramah. I am.
Then there was a secondary too. He has a follow-up. Not only is it nervous,
Does he?
but he sings Solare.
So what?
Oh, does he
I
sing
thought that was one
Solare
of. I
as
thought that was
opposed
one of
to
his better.
Volare, like in the movie,
Yes.
like in the movie Hollywood
How
Nights?
sad it is.
One of his
Very
better
good one.
calls.
All
Very
right,
good.
I think we need to end on that note.
Yeah.
Let John Sterling kill our show. It's been a pleasure to be with you today, and for those of you listening at home,
We know you.
arrive home safely.
Thank you very much, folks. As always, Kramah, thank you. Miller.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.